Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today we have a pretty fun video idea that we're going to be doing. We're going to be looking back at some of the biggest trades in the NBA in the last 10-15 years. And we're going to be looking back at the Reddit posts that went with them. And we're going to be looking back at some of the initial reaction comments, seeing what some people thought about the trade just minutes after it happened. So the first one here we got is 6 years ago. Oklahoma City is trading All-Star Paul George to the Clippers for a record-setting collection of draft choices. I think that this post was made before they announced that the Thunder were also getting Shea, but we will see. We have to play Warriors, Clippers, and Lakers how many times next year? The Pacific Division RIP. Yeah, that didn't really end up happening, though. I mean, the Warriors, obviously, Steph Curry got hurt right at the beginning of the year. James Wiseman didn't do anything in his rookie year. The Kings weren't very good. That's just not a great take. You may have the solution of the All-Star game instead of East versus West. What about a tournament of different divisions? That would be amazing. That would be pretty cool, actually. And that's what the NHL used to do. Now the NBA wants to be like the NHL again, but kind of the wrong time. Do draft picks even matter for LA teams? Just let other teams draft all NBA players, and then they just show up on your doorstep or demand to be traded there. Yeah, that's kind of what happened, because this is a year after the Lakers traded for AD, and then they won the championship right before this trade. Apparently, for 4 unprotected firsts, a protected first, 2 pick swaps, as well as SGA and Gallinari. This is a fleecing, honestly. I would trade my 7-week-old daughter for 5 first-round picks and 2 pick swaps. Yeah, the Thunder really did, honestly, easily win this trade, and it's not even close. Like, if you're really looking back at it, it's not close at all. So that earthquake earlier was Jerry West balls hitting the ground. Executive of the Year needs to be renamed the Jerry West Award. That does not look good in retrospect. They didn't win much with this team. Battle for LA, AD and Braun versus PJ and Kawhi. It should have been like that, but it didn't end up being quite cinematic like it was supposed to be. This is even worse. Yeah, there's a lot of people that really thought that the Clippers were going to be great, but then there's also people that really did think that the Thunder won. I think that what happened was Kawhi told the Clippers he wanted to sign with them, but he wouldn't commit unless they got a second star. He waited till the Clips confirmed they could get George and then went ahead and signed, hence the timing of the announcement. Jerry West is a god. Yeah, that's not really how people would look at this trade now. Everyone thought that the Clippers finessed the Thunder. This Thunder fan's mad here, but honestly, looking back, I loved Paul George when he played for the Thunder. He was one of my favorite NBA players at the time. But obviously, having Shea and J-Dub now, that's a completely different story. This is something I would definitely rather do than keep Paul George and Russ together. Yeah, that's kind of crazy, honestly. Hold on. Okay, there we go. Okay, moving on. Next up, we have the Phoenix Suns are nearing a blockbuster trade to acquire Brooklyn Nets star Kevin Durant. Sources tell ESPN Durant wanted to move to the Suns, and new owner Matt Ishbia pushing to get the deal done tonight. I remember when this happened. This was only 2 years ago, but a lot has happened for the Suns in those last 2 years. The official announcement right here. The Suns are sending Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, Jay Crowder, 4 first-round picks, pick swaps for Durant and TJ Warren. Durant wanted move, and new owner Matt Ishbia pushed to get a deal done tonight. Let's view the replies on this, because this is the official announcement. Amazing how first-round picks are so valued now that star players don't get traded for nearly the equal talent anymore. Just depends what a team is looking for out of a trade, but tanking has become way more acceptable. It really has, because especially this year, there was a good 20 teams that wanted to be good in the playoffs, but then the other 10 just were not even close to being playoff teams. Like, it was a whole different level. It would be so funny if Jay Crowder is stuck behind Cam Johnson for a spot on the starting lineup. Those 27 and 29 unprotected first-round picks are going to be spicy. They are looking like they're going to be. Insane haul. Seems like the market's also still operating off of the devaluation of first-round picks from the Minnesota-Utah trade. Yeah, that Rudy Gobert trade, I don't know. I don't remember if we have it coming up, but that really did reset the market for NBA trades going forward. 5 picks for Gobert. Tim Connolly should be fired and then arrested. Yeah, that's crazy that Gobert went for the same amount of assets that Kevin Durant went for. How often do you see a team locked into a playoff spot just get blown up and trade away their 2 best players at the deadline? Yeah, I was looking back a couple days ago, and I didn't even remember that this happened, but the Nets were in that playoff series that one year as, I think, the 6th seed with Cam Johnson. I didn't even know that he was on them for a playoff series ever. It's crazy. Mavs Suns drama intensifies. I didn't even think of that. Kevin Durant is just coming for Kyrie's head at this point. Yeah, this is kind of crazy just looking back at some of these reactions and seeing how different the reactions are to how it ended up today. Ben Simmons is a franchise player now. This guy really thought that. And then he thought that he was going to be the 4th option. He's not even on the team anymore. This is crazy. Brooklyn lost both their All-Stars. Still have Ben Simmons. Let's see, like, some kind of prediction. They kept Aiden, Booker, and CP3 and added Durant. Let's see what the reactions to this are. Is there really nothing? Oh, wow, there's really nothing. Yeah, just a lot of crazy, just first reactions. The Woj bomb to end all Woj bombs, that's crazy. The Nets started this season with Kyrie, KD, and Nash as their head coach, and by the deadline, they're all gone. I don't know why they fired Steve Nash, because I feel like they were better with him as the coach. Yeah. I didn't even remember that KD played with CP3 in Phoenix, though. That's something I just didn't even remember happened. Yeah, a lot of people were saying that the Suns won this trade, but I don't think they really did. Okay, next up here we have Miami finalizing a sign and trade with Philadelphia to acquire Jimmy Butler, sources tell ESPN. Can't wait to see how Butler tears into Whiteside. And then they traded Hassan Whiteside in the same trade. Jimmy G buckets. Oh, let's see here. Seriously, what is happening today? Let's see. I need to see some predictions. Why, though? Doesn't Jimmy want to compete for titles? Should have stayed in Philly. I guess he really wanted to live in Miami over Philly. So he thought that Miami was not going to compete for a title with Jimmy Butler. They made 2 finals runs with him. Let's go. 7th seed. Here we come. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Jimmy Butler, I guess, going into Miami, no one really thought that he could be a superstar #1 option on a championship contender team, but he really has proven that he can be. Miami used the caps better than used their cap better than the Knicks. Where's the predictions at? That's what I really want to see. Let's see. Overpay for Toby and lose Jimmy. They just got Horford. Let's see what they said about Al Horford going to them. I think Josh Richardson is good, man. I watched a lottery of Heat games since he was on my fantasy team. Your defense is going to be insane. Richardson and Harris can shoot along with Big Al. Now Simmons can have ball in his hands more and Embiid. I got you as East favorites now. That is what I wanted to see. That is kind of crazy. Holy crap. Okay. Moving on to 2 years ago. Portland Trailblazers trade Damian Lillard to Milwaukee Bucks. Here's the full trade right here if you don't remember it. It was a three-teamer with Portland and Phoenix, obviously. Let's see what some people thought. Okay, so the initial reactions. The Bucks are giving up a lot of perimeter depth in exchange for another superstar. Yeah, that's kind of what happened. But gives them very serious title odds. The Blazers are apparently trying to offload Drew Holiday immediately as they are rebuilding. The pick and swaps from the Bucks are okay, but probably won't be too valuable given how low the picks are going to be. Yeah, that's not really what happened because this Milwaukee first is going to be a big deal in 2029 now. Especially since Dame got hurt. Giannis might get out of town. That's going to change a lot. Suns get Nurkic and some depth in exchange for Aiden. I'm not really sure how to evaluate this. Seems like a neutral trade for them. As a Celtics fan, Milwaukee scares me now. Not a ton of depth, and they are, of course, gave up some defense, but that's a scary big three with Dame, Giannis, and Middleton. If they all get to play extended stretches together, I feel bad for Drew if he doesn't know where he's ended up next. I don't. He ended up with the Celtics and won a ring. For the Suns, I think they just wanted to get rid of Aiden. Little and Allen should get a good bit of run off the bench. Their current bench is largely a bunch of guys who might be okay but are likely end of the bench guys somewhere. That's a pretty good analysis for the Suns. Let's see what else we got here. This feels more of a trade you make close to the deadline than the start of the season, and you slim the team down closer to the playoffs. Maybe they have confidence in their deeper bench guys like Beauchamp to step up to the plate. Milwaukee shrinking their guard depth is even more of a surprise. Losing Holiday and writing it off as a we want offense over defense is understandable, but also losing Grayson Allen in the process, who was able to provide a ton of valuable minutes for them and becoming a second string ball handler, is pretty big. If they're able to front run, clearly this one of the most dangerous teams in the Eastern Conference, but a bad stretch of games could really be scary for them. Adrian Griffin is going to have a field day with this team. Yeah, he didn't really because he got fired after, half a year with them? Still don't understand why that happened. I don't care about locker room issues. They would probably be in a better spot right now if they still had Adrian Griffin. But yeah, this is a pretty good analysis. Grayson Allen has been pretty good for Phoenix. They still have Pat Connaughton and MarJon Beauchamp. MarJon Beauchamp is awful. He was a complete bust. He's not even on a standard NBA contract anymore. Moving on now to, I think 6 years ago. Yeah, 6 years ago, a really under-the-radar trade that's now going to start getting some popularity back in 2025 after what happened last night with Jokic and Zubac. But the Clippers trading Mike Muscala to the Lakers for Beasley and Zubac. Beasley was released, but Zubac to the Clippers basically for Mike Muscala. Let's see what we got here. We should have kept Brook Lopez, okay. Zubac, no. Okay, so this is a Lakers fan that wanted Zubac to stay. Don't understand why the Lakers are giving him up. When Muscala comes available, you don't just hold on to your assets. What in the world? You don't let a guy like Muscala just get away. You make that trade 100 times out of 100. I think that's a troll. But who knows? It's a Wizards fan. You never know with them. There has to be something here. This doesn't make any sense. This is an OKC fan. My guesstimate is that he is not a full court offensive player. This is talking about Zubac. In lineups with LeBron, the team is a net negative in field goals, opponent field goals, so teams are running the floor on them. I think Zubac is a stud, though. I have mixed feelings on him being traded, especially to free up a spot for Melo, who didn't even sign with them. Muscala seems like a bootleg Kevin Love. This has the GM written all over it. So he does think that Zubac was going to be good, but he thinks that they traded him because of the opponent field goals. Like, he's been great in LA for the Clippers. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Okay, moving on. Atlanta and Dallas have agreed to a deal. They will trade number 3 and 5, sending Luka to Dallas and Trae Young to Atlanta. This is 7 years ago. One Dirk dies, one Dirk born. So he's comparing Luka to the next Dirk. That makes sense. Top 5 protected pick. Okay. Cuban gets his Euro for the next decade, and that would have been true if Mark Cuban didn't sell the team. But he is not even a Dallas Maverick anymore. So this trade is different looking back because the Mavericks might not be winners even anymore, because if Trae Young leads the Hawks to a finals appearance ever, he's basically got the same resume with the team as Luka did. Mark Cuban, you legend. Just in time to take the torch from Dirk. What a solid franchise. Atlanta, why any small guard that shoots threes equals Curry, apparently. That's crazy because he's a Hawks fan, but he didn't want Trae Young. This many people hating on a pick on Reddit guarantees in 3 years we will look like. I guess we will never learn. Watch both sides benefit from this, which they did. Doncic, time for Dallas. As a European Mavs fan who follows Luka since he's 16, I couldn't be happier. Hawks, you idiots. Travis Schlenk needs to go. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. I don't think that, even at the time, I would have not unwanted Trae Young. Like, he was a good guy. I just would obviously rather wanted Luka, especially looking back. What are we doing? We just went through an entire season of unwatchable basketball for this. That's a Hawks fan. Yeah, that I think they're happy with Trae Young though. He's been better with the team than what Luka might have been with the supporting cast. Dallas pulled it off. Great stuff from Cuban. Hopefully this move will make up for passing on Antetokounmpo. They did get an Antetokounmpo in the same draft, though. They drafted Kostas 60th overall. Dallas won't have a top 10 pick next year. I think they didn't, actually. Mark Cuban's about to drive around the city hysterically celebrating. Oh. Okay. Next up, we have, I think 3 years ago, maybe 4. Yeah, 3 years ago, the Cavaliers have acquired Donovan Mitchell in a trade from Utah. Wait, what? Cleveland from the top rope? Unbelievable RKO. Yeah. Cavs are trading Sexton, Markkanen, Abaji, 3 firsts, and 2 pick swaps. Like this return for the Jazz. Hard to hate it for Cleveland, but really nice for Utah. What? So he thought that Utah won the trade, basically. I never would think that Utah won a trade with that package. I know that it looked kind of lopsided when it first happened, but Donovan Mitchell has done so good for the team, and Markkanen was amazing the first year in Utah, but he really fell off. I don't know what happened to him. No one expected this trade. That's what most of the comments are for. Yeah, this is all just people that were completely surprised about the trade. I don't really remember how it went down. I just remember I was at school getting ready for a football game, but I don't really remember how it happened. I think the Knicks were the favorites for Mitchell. Cleveland didn't really move any critical pieces except for those first, and they got a top-tier player. They might be a problem. That's great analysis. Normally, I'm not a fan of trading our next 5 unprotected picks, but that tends to be when you're in a win now with old guys mode. When you blow it up in a year or two and watch someone else get to make your premium picks. But this team is so young, I don't see that happening. At the very least, they should be a middle-of-the-pack playoff team for the foreseeable future. These two guys know what they're talking about. Okay, moving on. This is, what, 6 years ago? Yeah, 6 years ago. The Thunder have agreed to trade Westbrook to the Rockets for Chris Paul, first-round picks in 24 and 26, pick swaps in 21 and 25. This was a sad day for me as a Thunder fan. I loved Westbrook and George, and I think Westbrook went second. Someday I'll tell my kids about the great offseason of 2019. I do want to talk about that for a second. This offseason was crazy. We had Kawhi switching teams, KD, Kyrie, Paul George, Russ. I don't even remember who else. But it was just insane. Anthony Davis, Al Horford, Jimmy Butler. Oh my God, someday traumatized Thunder fans will yell at their grandchildren and tell them not to ask about the 2019 offseason. This is what I want. It's just some crazy people that don't know what they're talking about in sports that are saying these crazy things that ended up being totally wrong. Nah, this is where they start the story of the great 2020s Thunder dynasty. Envisioned 6 years ago, Raptors fan. He is smart. Looking forward to 2027 when they trade away 3 more MVPs. I hope that doesn't happen. They won the offseason. A lot of people did like this for the Thunder, apparently. Have you seen Sam Presti with draft assets? This guy is fantastic. Durant, Westbrook, Harden, Ibaka, Adams, etc. Chris Paul was so close to that ring. Now he's got to babysit the new young guys while OKC rebuilds. I don't think that Chris Paul really minded that because they made the playoffs and he got a lot of respect for carrying that team all the way to the playoffs. I don't know. This is going to be fun to watch. Westbrook and Harden are going to combine for 60 field goals a game, and I'm here for it. Tucker, Capella, and whoever will be playing, it's a suicide drill all game since they'll just be running up and down with no possession. Go off season, it sounded close, yeah. Yeah, it really was. Okay, moving on. The Lakers acquire Russell Westbrook and a 2024 second and a 2028 second from the Wizards for Kuzma, KCP, Harrell, and the number 22 overall pick. This is a trade that obviously didn't go great. Probably one of our first of the day. 2028, the world is ending before then. That's the year AD retires, and we would have to find another star to go with LeBron. Yeah, AD's already way gone. '28 second round pick is the next Jordan. What? Let's see. It'll force AD to play the 5, and Russ significantly improves our non-LeBron lineups. Also, AD is going to feast with Russ getting him the ball. My main concerns are spacing and how they'll fit because Russ does nothing off the ball. He did not help the Lakers' offense. Absolutely not worth it, other than to say that you did, speaking from somewhat experience. Lamau, I'm optimistic LeBron has been struggling to drive the ball. His age and AD being injury prone gives us an offensive pillar in Westbrook. My hope is that Westbrook takes a lot of the offensive and playmaking load off LeBron and keeps them more fresh for the playoffs. Time to drive in the veteran shooter bin. McLemore is a Laker. Might as well pick up some more shooters. Korver and Redick available. Yeah, some people really thought that this is a great trade for the Lakers, and I remember watching some live streams of the draft. This is just hours before the draft. Oh my god. Yeah, this guy knows what he's talking about. They're going to need to hit the ring chaser lottery among vet minimum dudes, otherwise this has big disaster potential. And it did have big disaster potential. Okay, moving on. The Wizards are finalizing a deal to send Chris Paul to the Warriors for a package that includes Jordan Poole and future assets. Let's see what we got in here. I know a little of the NBA, but how the Wizards sent the Paul, who is on the Suns, to Golden State and get little picks. Chris Paul is part of the blockbuster Bradley Beal trade just a few days ago. Paul wants to go to a contending team, seeing he's at the end of his career and wants to win a ring. And that's all we got in this one. That's kind of crazy. Gary Harris, R.J. Hampton, and first-round pick to the Magic for Aaron Gordon. I like this. R.J. Hampton is a dog. He's out of the league. Awkward fit next to Fultz, but I do like R.J. as well. R.J. Hampton and a first is nice. They all liked R.J. Hampton. He's not in the league no more. A decent haul for the Magic. Oh my god, the Nuggets won a championship with Aaron Gordon, and people are praising the Magic. First